Under the sea, under the sea.
It is almost summer and time for an undersea art project. You can draw one undersea creature that you really like a whale or a dolphin, or you can make a whole scene full of lots of little things. If you have watercolor paint, this is a great choice for this project. And if not, you can use markers and put water on top of them. I'll also show you a cool technique where you can use regular household salt, sprinkle it on top, and get kind of a sparkly effect. If you're painting, find the thickest paper you can, start with a pencil and choose an animal. I'm going to draw a dolphin, so I start with a crescent shape, go back towards where I started, kind of like a banana, and for the tail, I draw the outside lines first. Fins kind of curve backwards. The back fin is a soft triangle, and he's got a happy little smile. And I decided to kind of change the shape and make it rounder for a more cartoony feel. Next, I'm going to add a fish by starting with an oval. You can make up any kind of fish by just making different shaped fins. I'm trying to draw a little clownfish, kind of like Nemo. So I noticed from the picture they've got these little wavy fins on top, kind of an interesting striped pattern, and I'll be making him orange, so he looks really a lot like Nemo. Then I'll add some other details like wiggly lines for seaweed. It's nice to have some on both sides for balance, a ground. And I choose to trace my picture with Sharpie. It makes it a little easier to see, but you don't have to. I also decide to add some more details like bubbles from the fish, and then, oh no! Dolphins don't breathe through their mouths, they breathe through their blowholes, so I have to turn the bubble into something. I think it'll be a soccer ball. Cool. Whew. Let's see, a seahorse, maybe me scuba diving, and all the colors I want to add. Now it's time to paint the water. So I pour some salt into a dish, and either I can use paint or markers. I tested a bit, and it kind of just depends what kind of paper you use. Sometimes the salt does nothing, and sometimes it looks amazing. So just see what happens. To make it work, you paint a little bit, and before the paint dries, this is really important, you sprinkle that salt on top. Sometimes you can paint the whole paper with water, and then you kind of put the paint on top and let it spread around. That's called a wet-on-wet technique in watercolor. So again, paint a little bit, sprinkle the salt, paint a little bit, sprinkle the salt, and if it dries, just again, add a little water. And the hardest thing is, let the salt just sit there. Don't mess with it. Let it do its magical thing. It's going to absorb some of the pigment in the paint and create those cool patterns. Now on the other side of my paper, I'm showing you the marker painting technique. This is great if you don't have watercolor paints at your house. So you color a little bit with marker. Mine are even a little bit dried out, but they're all I had at home. And after you fill up your page, you're going to dip your brush in water and just paint right over it. If you're using printer paper, which is what a lot of us have at our houses right now, it might get kind of wrinkly, but that's okay. You can just kind of smush it out. And be patient, because at first it looks like nothing's happening, but sprinkle that salt and let it sit in a corner somewhere. You will check on it again once it's dry. Now it's magically later, and actually the marker side looks amazing. The paint side is a little bit more subtle, still nice though. So I got a different piece of paper, tried it again with a sea turtle this time, painted one side, used marker on the other side, just to kind of see what the different sorts of paper would do. And once again, the marker side had more interesting effects. So I would love to see what kind of results you guys get if you try this technique. There are so many possibilities for under the sea, though. You could make a toilet paper roll octopus, design a submarine or a jellyfish using a paper plate. You could make up your own sandcastle and create a painting about that. Or you could even finish one of the coloring sheets that I attached, where you fill in your own story. Now, go get fishy.